and welcome back to Let's Play E7. Here we are in the Sanctum, and we've got quite a bit to go. I mentioned this previously, but this is definitely one of the longer dungeons in the game, possibly even the longest. Definitely up there with the final dungeon in terms of length. Now that we are in the actual Wind Tower proper, we have quite a bit to get through. We've come across the central gimmick for this area. We have to find switches that will open the path forward. If you do not go the right direction, you will hit dead ends pretty quickly. Let's hit this. Unfortunately, this guy is in the way. Now, these guys take forever to deal with without strike damage. I considered going back to get a strike weapon for Adol, but it's just easier to use Doki, who's already ready for it. He does good stun damage to these things also, though he also does just great regular damage, so might not even be necessary to stun these things. Don't worry, Geist will come back in as soon as Dogi is done doing his thing. Granted, I'm mostly playing as Mishera here, so it's not like it matters a huge amount, but you know, we want to get that floor time for Geist. Yeah, you gotta deal with these enemies if they're crowded up on the switch like this. Sometimes you can manipulate them out of the way, but that's all that really matters if you're doing a Let's Play like I am, and you don't want to waste too much time on useless enemies. Heading forward, we hit the switch that actually, well, allows us to get forward. Here is a Windstone Deposit. Do not equip the Wind Cloak here. We instead want to go to this teleporter at the end of this grate. And this will take us to a previously inaccessible section of the dungeon, or, well, this Wind Tower. Can I get this? No. That is okay. If I suddenly stop talking, it's because I'm stifling a belch. Just got done with dinner. Busy day, as per usual when you just get back to work after a nice, relaxing weekend. Never last long enough, do they? Anyway, taking that teleporter, we come down to this— oh! Hold on a sec. Alright, let's pretend that didn't happen. Here we've got another switch. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get Dogi in once again. And let's just take this guy out. But this switch is what needs to be hit in order to get out of this section of the Wind Sanctum. Let's just use a Kaiser Rush on this guy. There we go. Good damage. And get Geist back in here. Let him act like he's too cool for school. And we're actually able to hit the switch for once. Okay, did not screw up this time. I knew I was going to do at least one stupid thing this video, possibly several times this video. We'll just have to see. Now that we've got that taken care of, let's get the Wind Cloak on. And head on our merry way. Now, you do actually want to get a decent number of levels in this dungeon, as many as you can possibly manage. Like I mentioned in the previous video, 44 is where I would stop, and that seems to be where the experience in this area really starts to plummet. Now that we have the Wind Cloak, we can go over this, but yeah, definitely go into the boss well leveled, because it is a very annoying and very durable one, and I'm not looking forward to doing it in this recording. This stands the chance to be a decently long video, just gonna let you know right now. The boss of this area is quite the tank. Oh, jeez. Yeah, Mishera not so great against these guys, since her strongest moves kind of root her in place very long. I've mentioned this several times. Mishera is just not a good character. She's pretty much bad in all the ways that Aisha and Sigrun are good. But it's what we gotta deal with if I want to show every character. Note that we will be getting another high-level weapon, or, well, really strong weapon that teaches our Tier 4 skill, but it'll be a little bit before we get to it. In fitting with the trend, it's not exactly what I'd call a great Tier 4 skill, but, you know, it's there. It's definitely bad if you don't have the Crimson Jewel equipped, because it will cost you 100 SP, which, not exactly worth it. Also, when you're floating along the wind currents there, you can dodge through the air to move a little faster, and it's kind of important that you know to do that for something that's coming up later. Here we are in the next section of the Wind Sanctum Tower, and it's more of the same, really. I just gotta hit more of these switches. Of course, this guy gets in my way. Yeah, do not like having to deal with these guys. It's bad enough that they're strike-weak enemies when I don't really care to have any source of strike damage, but they are also just very prone to making themselves invulnerable by going into the air, which means you just have to wait for them to come back down. If you want to, you can just deal with them by having Adol spam Earthshaker and stunning them, and that's a perfectly acceptable way to deal with them. But the fact that they can fly makes it a little inconsistent, and I just would rather take the couple seconds to switch Dogi and have him take care of the thing. Oh, we want to take the Wind Cloak off. If you have the Wind Cloak on, these wind currents that blow you back will blow you back even more quickly. Oh, right, we got a new enemy over here. These giant bird guys that kind of look like the Raptor Anzus from Shin Megami Tensei, now that I think about it. Have that similar red mane. But these guys, nothing too big, just have a pierce damaging character like Mishera here. And you can take him out really quickly, get some monster downs off of them, all that good stuff. Let's get the switch over here. Now this will open up a switch or a path to a treasure chest down there. We're not going to head back for that right now because we will be taking a quicker route to get back there. Heading up this way, like I said, when you're going against these wind currents, you want to make absolutely certain you don't have the Wind Cloak on, or you're just not going to be making any headway. And once we reach the top of this area, and get past these guys, the section along the path will be crumbled here and we can drop down. This will take us to this chest that you probably noticed offhand. This gets us a Vitality Belt 3, aka 10,000 gold. Here is the next switch we need to hit. This opens up a crystal path to, well, not anything exciting. It actually just leads to another switch. This switch that we just opened up access to, this is what opens up the blockade at the top of the area. Yeah, this is a very busywork-centric dungeon, you've probably noticed. Before we head on up, we just want to grab this treasure real quick, get a Striga extract. Well, we would if I wasn't capped out. Let's correct that really quickly. And now we can get on out of here. Yeah, the enemies here do give pretty good experience if you're under level 43. It starts to bottom out once you get into level 43. This is actually the one nice thing about running Geis here, is because we're behind the level curve, his passive modifier to EXP will get us to where we need to be in a relative hurry, which is pretty nice if you're swapping in characters who are behind the level curve, but yeah, to be honest, Geis's passive ability, not particularly great at anything else. It's not going to let you beat the level curve in any area just because the EXP scaling is so harsh. At this point, we can equip the Wind Cloak now and move on upward through these updrafts, which is good because we want to hit this switch right here, and we do actually want to stop to kill this enemy and get that treasure chest, because that is a very important one. You've noticed that it's blue, I imagine, and it's an equipment chest. Can you hazard a guess what's in this chest? Why I would want it? Well, okay, I make a point of grabbing every treasure, regardless of whether or not it's actually anything I use. You know, I probably should sell those status-inflicting rings just because I never use them, but, you know. But here we get the Eartha Staff. This is the big weapon for Mishera in this dungeon. This is the one that she gets here that teaches her Tier 4 skill. Let's put that on... let's put that on X. Aerial Orb. Under normal circumstance, it costs your entire SP gauge to use, but since we've got the Crimson Jewel, this skill is actually usable to a certain degree. It's pretty weird, actually. Let's take a look at it. When you use it, time just outright freezes until she fires off, like, what was that, like 6 shots right there? Deals about 300 damage per hit. Not that good, honestly. For just simple economy reasons, I tend to prefer using Tornado, and because it roots her in place like that, even with the time freezing aspect, it's still very easy for Mishera to just get hit while using it. Yeah, not a fan, not a fan. Hitting this switch over here opens up this path to this fan. Now, to move forward, we actually just need to take that central one, but, you know, we can get some extra items by going off the beaten path here, going up here. You may notice there's nothing awaiting us here, but we can drop down. And heading over here, there is a chest with 30,000 gold in it. Very nice. But, unfortunately, the teleporter warps us back to the beginning. One thing that's kind of weird, compared to the first area we were in, the second and third areas, when you warp or drop down, the enemies respawn like you'd entered a new room. That is not the case in the very first area I noticed when I was just messing around. Here we can get some fruits if you want, and you can also drop down there, but the only thing down there is a couple Windstone Deposits, which we don't care about, so we're just going to head on up. I've done all the gathering that I need to do off-screen, so why waste the time hitting all those points on-screen? Ooh, hiccup. I'm always so self-conscious about that, it just sounds so gross to me. Okay, so this area is blocked off. I forgot that when in doubt, go left. We want to head left first to hit the switch here. And that'll open up a path to another switch. This is not exactly the most stellar dungeon puzzle design I've ever seen, I will admit. Dropping down here, we got some Buddha fruits, but we also have a Maum extract. Let's clear out the one in our inventory and grab this, even though it's not really necessary. Just feels wrong to leave chests uncollected, and also I felt like a dummy. But that's okay. Now we can finally get out of this area. We've gotten everything we needed to. Let's just head up this way. Be careful about crossing these gaps here. You definitely don't want to fall here and have to do even more backtracking. And we can just get on up. Now that we have hit that other switch, we can head right, hit the switch there. That'll open up the path in the center. This is the worst implementation of the PAL system I've ever seen. Just one thing to note here, you notice those 3 wind cutters. If you want to just do some leveling here, you want to skip by everything and just get levels towards the end, this is a good spot to do it. You can just teleport to the next area, then teleport back, and those 3 guys will just keep respawning. And it's pretty easy to kill them with Mishra's tornadoes. Here we get our next monument for the area, and here is a weird area. So we are getting blown along these wind currents here, and they can blow us into these fans, which deal a ton of damage if you get caught in them. So be very, very careful. To correct yourself, you have to dash to change. To change the direction you're going. We're going to unequip the wind cloak here and drop down. We can find a chest with some fossilized twigs, which is always worth it to grab. Fossilized twigs, very great. Used for a lot of synthesis recipes at this point, and for a quest. There are a couple other areas where we can drop down just like that to get some items. I think it's this next one. Let me just see. No, it's the one right after it. You probably saw the blue chest poking out there. Let's unequip our wind cloak, drop down, because on this one, we actually get a very unique accessory, the Blood Nail. What this accessory does is it allows you to hit enemies and drain their HP to restore your own. It's the only way you can do something like that in E7, so it's pretty unique. I personally have not tested it out myself because I actually did not know it was there. I was just messing around in my test run of the dungeon, and I just happened to notice it as I was going by, and I dropped down for it. This is the first time I've actually gotten the accessory. Alright, it looks like I got a little too eager to get to the end. You may have noticed we're blocked off here. We've got switches to hit. Gotta take off our wind cloak. Be very careful about these guys. If you get too close to them in the center, they will expand outward and deal a ton of damage, and also potentially knock you off the platform. This has already been a very backtrack-heavy dungeon, so as you can imagine, you want to avoid that as best as possible. Unfortunately for us, there are multiple switches we have to hit. Only 2, though. Only 2. As you can imagine, the other one we need to hit is on the left side. So let's get to... Ugh! Yeah, it is very easy to fall into that. Ugh. Okay, let's just take this guy out. Mishra actually does surprisingly well here, considering you don't want to be at point blank with this guy. Of course, there she goes, whiffing the charge shot again. More reasons why you shouldn't use Mishra. I'm being mean. She's a perfectly usable character. I just don't think she's particularly stellarly designed. But hey, if you want to use her, go nuts. She's plenty useful on the lower difficulties, because the enemies are doing less damage. It's a bit easier to appreciate the reduced damage she brings to the table, reducing the enemy's damage, of course. On this mode, the enemies just hit so hard, it's kinda not noticeable. Here we get a Varl Incense, so we don't have to go back and synthesize one, and a Dragon Energy Drop, which I don't care about. I kinda wish you could carry, like, at least 3 of those, then it might be at least decently useful. Alright, so let's load up here, because as soon as we get on that chariot in the center, we are going to be thrust into a mini-boss encounter. Here is my pre-made save. One thing I do have to modify here is I want to make sure Adol and Geis have the proper items equipped. I'm going to equip the Ruby onto Geist, and I'm going to equip the Sapphire onto Adol, so for any damage that they take, they'll be generating a little bit of extra in SP for me. I feel that's the best thing to do with them right now. I don't really intend to switch to them unless I have to, and there are going to be reasons where I might have to do that. Hey, there's only one way to find out. But yes, getting onto the bird sculpture chariot will start taking us forward through the Wind Sanctum. Well, this is a nice leisurely cruise. Glad we were able to take this. It's pretty nice after all that dungeoneering. Alright, that was easy enough. Oh, jeez. What the heck is that? Well, you didn't think this was just going to be a pleasure cruise, did you? We've got to fight this guy. If this looks a little hard to see what's going on with, it is, believe me. But this guy, he is not anything too special. He's got a very simplistic attack pattern. He'll shake his head and then spit his tongue out. If you're standing point blank, he'll try to bite you, and that's about it. Not very exciting. The main notable thing about him, as you probably noticed, is that he can summon enemies. He starts off by summoning those floating wind heads, but eventually he'll start summoning the wind cutters. As always, the ideal way to deal with this is if you're playing as Mishara, is just stand back, launch tornadoes at him. He can't do too much about it. Because there are enemies coming along here, I should get enough EXP to get Mishara up to level 44, and that's the ideal level for the boss, I feel. And yeah, this is not the Wind Dragon, this is just some weird spider thing. Actually, what the heck is this thing, even? It doesn't even have a name. Well, it doesn't have a title card. If I check the bestiary, I would see that it has a name, but like I said, I don't really feel like doing homework and studying the enemy names in this game, just so I can recall them offhand. This guy is Bitey Head. That's what we're going to call him. Yeah, you probably noticed that now that Tornado has leveled up quite a bit, it has a pretty impressive suction effect, which is pretty nice for corralling enemies to get a bunch of damage on them, but you gotta be careful when they're in the midst of launching attacks, particularly with those projectile enemies like the Wind Cutters, because you can end up dragging them right in front of Mishara, and she'll get hit by an attack she otherwise would not have gotten tagged by. Just another way that she's a little more annoying to use than she should be. But after that nonsense, we feel a strange but familiar presence. I wonder what it could be. Here is the final monument for this level. If you want to go back and resupply at Kylos, you can do so, but I tested it out, and this is more than enough supplies for us to last the boss fight, so hopefully I don't screw this up too much. I was doing pretty poorly in my test runs because we'll get into it. Suffice to say, this guy is pretty annoying to dodge at a lot of points, and playing as Mishara actually does afford us a unique benefit. It's always so dark and ominous in these areas when we first enter them. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Oh, actually, you know, this actually does look a lot like the boss arena for that one dungeon in Twilight Princess, now that I think about it. Not one-to-one, but it's got, like, a similar concept. Am I crazy in saying that? I apologize if that's a tenuous connection. It makes me think of it. Can you give us a straight answer, please? You know, you're the Wind Dragon, it's the Wind of Destruction, you gotta have something for us. You know, that is a valid question, now that I think about it. And here is the Wind Dragon. As you can see, he's an absolute unit. He also looks vaguely zombie-like. Those ribs, be mindful of those ribs. But yes, this is Muanty, the Wind Dragon. He is a chunky boy. And that is not just for show, as we will get into later. He's just getting right down to brass tacks. Okay, we'll beat you up. Eesh. These dragons are so masochistic. But yes, this is Muanty, and he is annoying. He has 86,000 hit points on Nightmare Mode, and we don't do nearly as much damage to him as we did to Angry Barl. He is very, very durable and has a lot of annoying attacks that kind of come out surprisingly quickly given this frame, so it's very easy to get caught out, and, oh jeez, he can also put you in stun. Oh, okay. Yeah, Mishera is not exactly great for this fight in terms of mobility. The main advantage she has is, of course, she's a ranged character, so she can avoid his strikes just by not being point blank. Those pellets that he spits out are pretty annoying. As you can see, they make a pretty sizable explosion. Not having much luck with getting opportunities for flash guards. Now, if you think it's kind of hard to see what's going on in this arena, you are not alone in this. I honestly have a hard time keeping track of all of the junk that just gets thrown at you here, and for some reason, like, the visuals... Oh, I need to unequip the Wind Cloak. Very important that you have the Wind Cloak unequipped if you don't want to have any problems. Here, when he's flying in the air, he has a couple of projectile attacks with his tail. The main thing you want to watch out for is his suction attack. If you have the Wind Cloak on, that will just pull you in right away. This laser attack, if you have the Wind Cloak on, it'll drag you into it. Hey! Give my friends back. Get over here. There we go. If you can't hit him enough, he'll eventually drop your allies. Of course, they can avoid being eaten just by dodging out of it, but the AI is a little inconsistent about doing that. I think it can potentially kill AI party members, as most, like, grapple draining attacks can, but it doesn't do a ton of damage, really, so unless they're already on death's door, you probably will not see it. Now, that rush attack for when he was, or that rush opening for when he was prepping the laser, that one, I have never actually been able to knock him out of it. It does not seem like you can do enough damage to actually get him out of there. Actually, speaking of damage, let's switch over to Adol real quick and see if I can't do a flash guard, if he will actually attack us. Yep, jeez, of course. Nope, of course I got cursed. Never mind. Yeah, I want to get the most damage out of it. Adol does the most damage with his attack. Maybe if we... Okay, Adol's uncursed again. Yeah, that ribcage attack is... Oh, come on! I'm doing horrible here. Yeah, this guy is not easy to flash guard. His attacks are just so weird. There we go! It does not help that the visuals in this fight just make it really hard to keep track of him. Yeah, what the heck, if he's going up in the air, let's start using Aerial Orb. Just for the sake of it. Actually, yeah, that's not terrible. It's actually hitting his body. His tail takes considerably less damage than his body for some reason. You'd think it would be like a weak point, but no, it's actually a strong point. I'm not really sure what the deal is with it. Okay, we'll use another Aerial Orb. And this is another perk that Mishera has, is that she can easily hit the body from the ground. Let's just use a healing item real quick in case I get tagged by the laser. Like I said, I've never been able... Oh, jeez. I've never been able to... Oh my... This is going terrible. I've never been able to knock him out of the laser, so I'm not sure how much damage you need to do. Also not sure why it switched me off of Adol into Geist when he spit me out. Weird. Maybe Geist came out slightly sooner and it thought that Adol was still trapped, so it just switched him preemptively. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is, I'll use an extract when Adol dies. I want to try and get the most mileage out of that Malm extract. Okay, there we go. Now we can get the most mileage out of that. Let's get Mishera back in the battle. Unfortunately, Geist is poisoned, so he's probably going to be eating a little bit of damage. Now, you probably noticed this fight's been going on for a while, and he's just now hitting half death. Oh, jeez. This is definitely the worst the game gets with its really durable bosses, I feel. Muanty is just not fun to fight. He has a ton of HP. He's a little bit better than Rajaman, but, am I even remembering his name right? I am so bad with the names in this game, I apologize. Let's just say the Wind Dragon. He's not quite as bad as the Wind Dragon, but he's up there. I mean, at least we can damage him. Oh, jeez, I am getting bounced around like crazy. I was just trying to talk and like, what the heck? I am getting destroyed by these wind pellets. I probably would do better with a different character here, but, you know, for the sake of appropriateness, I guess, we'll get Mishera in on this fight. Fortunately, we're past the halfway point. We are in the home stretch, so to speak. Not quite, but, you know, we're getting there, we're getting there. One thing to note, do not use the tier 4 skill. Oh, jeez. That is also rather tricky to dodge. Hey, we actually managed to get away from that for once. Let's hit him with Aerial Orb. Better use up one of the Nodley extracts just to get a little bit of HP there. And come on, do a little more damage. Ah, jeez. What the heck? Why am I screwing that up? Oh, come on! One of these days, I will get the flash... Why did I do that? I meant to do this. One of these days, I will get the flash guard timing on everything in this game. Probably not anytime soon, because it'll be a while before I feel like playing this game after this Let's Play is over. I've actually been doing pretty rough on video games today. I ended up completely messing up on a boss in Trails of Cold Steel 3 this morning, which kind of burned through my time before work, and then on my lunch break I was playing some Yggdra Union, and I did 3 attempts on a battlefield to try and complete it the way I wanted, and it did not pan out, but I should be able to get that the next time I play at least. Hey, you know what the heck, let's do this. Just to get Mishira's in. Unlike the other skills, that actually does freeze his time. Oh, avoided the laser for once, and avoided the body, just barely. Alright, that was good, that was good. I am satisfied. We can say this was a successful fight right now. He hasn't done it yet, but at this point he has another attack he does where he can roar and then roll up into a ball. It's pretty similar to the... Oh, there he goes. It's pretty similar to the boar's charge. He just comes at you, and it's ideal to try and flash guard him. Or he can just whiff and... Oh, come on! How'd I get hit by that? Huh. I didn't know he could actually go into the laser from that. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, there we go. Oh, jeez. This is turning into a disaster right at the end. Let's get Mishira back in. Let's use the Varl Incense. Remember, those things are no good unused. I apologize that I'm using so many healing items in a lot of these fights. I wish I was good enough to get by without them, but unfortunately I'm not exactly someone who can do no damage runs of these fights. One of these days I'll be more skilled at the games I play. I've been telling myself that. Oh, come on, Mishira, really? The auto-targeting in this game, I swear. Oh, wow. I feel like I'm starting to lose myself here. Whoa, man, he like fired 12 back-to-back there. Alright, he's coming at us. Can we flash guard? Or he could just ignore us completely. That works for me. Okay, at this point, now we can start charging up Aerial Orb. We're almost done, we're almost done. Oh, man. Sorry this fight is so uninteresting, but it's what we gotta deal with. The later bosses after this are much better. This is the last really awful boss fight we have to deal with, I feel. The other ones after it are a lot more interesting, I feel. Oh. Let's just heal preemptively? Okay. Yeah, it's a good thing I did that. Mishira would have died there. Yeesh, I did not know he could chain this many loogies together. I did not see him do... Oh, wow! That was like, what, 24 back-to-back? Jeez. You know, all things considered, I'm surprised we're killing this guy before the 30-minute mark. Oof, that was brutal. But we're over the hump for boss fights in this game. That was the last one that I feel is truly terrible. Alright, cool. Now what can we do with that? Well, of course, the more obvious thing that we get from it is a stone. Here comes the Windstone. And, of course, what would a reward be without a power-up? So, at this point, the successor, being Mishira in this case, gets the protection of the Wind Dragon. This makes her extra skill a little extra chunky. Wind Legion. I actually don't know what that one looks like, because I never bothered to use Mishira after this. Granted, in a casual playthrough, I wouldn't be using Mishira at all, but you get my point, I'm sure. Wait, what? Are you saying that everything we're working for is pointless? Jeez. So is he just telling us to fight against the inevitable? Every time we talk to one of these guys, we just end off with more questions and no answers. Well, it means that Adol has to do all the work, of course. Yeah, but where do we go from here? Yeah. Sorry about that, something in my throat, is getting a little too obnoxious. But yeah, I mean, we have access to the Moon Dragon, but what are we gonna do about the Sea Dragon? Oh, wait. Oh, that's just a replica altar, never mind. Yeah. Alright, sounds good to me. Let's get back to Sirius. But we will actually be saving that for next video, since we've had enough tedious busy work. But just one more cutscene to see before we end off. But who are these two? Not anybody I recognize. Granted, it's a bit hard to tell with those robes. They seem keenly aware of what Adol is doing. Wow, that is an eerie voice. Red text with a white border? Can't get much more eerie than that. Pretty sure I've seen stuff like that in Corpse Party. Yeesh. Talk about nihilism. I'm sure those two won't become a factor at all. Who even are they? Well, that's just something for you to ponder in private. We will save our game here and call it a video. Next time we'll be meeting Sirius to see where we can go from here. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope to see you next time. Until then, goodbye.